Hi, welcome to
Hola.
Rewind with myself, as Jay. And know, y'all know DMAC 5 by 5 L. Let's jump right into it.
So
Let
today we have 3 episodes that we're going to go, which is why we're premiering ourselves earlier this week. I am not doing any clips today. I would love to. I'm just tired. It's been a long day, and
and
so
and
if we're
and
going
I
to do
I
best
had a
to
I had a
memory, that's
date
it.
day, so y'all do not want me to go through clips after a date day. DMAC can tell you you don't want that.
So we're just going to do the best to give you a synopsis and then go over our questions that we wrote down. Okay, cool. Everybody good? Let's go. So we start with episode 5, which is the tale of the hungry hounds. Now, I will say this on most occasions. I hate this episode with the fiery passion of 1,000 suns. It is
So do I.
literally the stupidest episode in the history of episodes, but it's there. What you gonna do? So basically, these two girls, one's again cousins. Why are we dealing with cousins? Always
And what?
cousins.
And why do all these cousins hate each other? Why do
Well,
all these
no, I don't
cousins
think these
hate?
cousins hated each other. I just think
They
they
hate
weren't used to
spending
each other.
time with each other.
They weren't
And
used to each other. I'll say that. We'll
right,
give them
they
that credit.
why is it that these parents on these shows wait till these cousins are teenagers to decide to want them to spend time together? Like if we ain't already been spending time
Your
together,
son says
please don't
hi.
bring them to my house.
Your son says hi.
Hi, my baby.
So basically, at this point, they're trying their best to get along. They go up into this attic shenanigans, which again, when there was an attic to play around in, I probably would have done that too. I'm not gonna lie,
Hell, I'm
but
not
that's
gonna lie that I didn't even realize addicts were a real thing till I was fully an adult. I thought addicts was just something that authors put into books or screenwriters put into movies. I did not know that it was a real thing, but please understand where and how I grew up. I thought addicts were a myth. So when I watched this episode originally, I was like, oh, this is just fiction, start to finish. I didn't know addicts were a real thing.
they
As an
are
adult,
to an extent.
now I know addicts are a real thing and people put stuff in. I didn't know. So
So
I will
basically,
admit, when I first
oh.
watched it, I thought the whole thing was fiction, start to finish.
So basically, these two girls go in the attic. They start trying on the clothes that were there, and the one of the city cousin in this case, puts on this dress and tries to scare the country cousin. Does a good job. I'm not gonna lie. She did jump for a few seconds, and then we go to they go downstairs, and then it switches to a next scene where they're feeding a horse, and the mother freaks out because her sister basically had an accident on a horse. I mean, it's just craziness, like crazy. So basically, the rundown is they start playing with the occult, and I'm just like, here's my first question. Flip my hair back. Hold on. The parents and children are out of touch with everything. That's the first thing, and that the occult is treated as a game. And I'm just like, my mother, in all of her wisdom, knew that we should not be playing with no Ouija boards. That was not something that was done, discussed, interested in, or doing anything with. We did not go there. That
And
was
we
not a
and
discussion.
we discussed this last night. Um,
Who calling
that
you?
no, that was an alarm. Sorry. Uh, how you? But we discussed this last night. My second job, because my first job was working for my mom, and that didn't work out because we the same person. Uh, and I worked for. I'm not gonna say it on here because I ain't trying to have them get me banned because I'm not saying anything bad about them. But I worked for a toy store, and
They
because
are no longer in business, honey. You can say their name.
oh well, Toys R Us, and I started off in children's books, and then they realized, hey, this is a chick that is a gamer, so they moved me to games because you couldn't work electronic games if you didn't work all of the game aisles. And there was one night, I told you about this, that we got a shipment because we were the newer store. So we didn't get fresh shipments. We got what didn't sell at other stores. And I got used to being called to the dock to, unpallet stuff and, put it up to bring it out to my department. There was a whole brand new shipment of Ouija boards. And now you got to put this on the shelf. I said, the devil is a lie. No, I don't. Well, you're going to have to go get carts. Carts it is. Well, you can't go in the back and get your jacket. I don't care. I'll go get them carts before I touch these Ouija boards. And I understand for a lot of people, it is just a game.
It's not a
Bless,
game.
bless you. Bless you. If you are to that level in life that you believe that a Ouija board is just a game and ain't nothing ever affected you with playing with the occult, bless you. But for me, no.
No. My mother would have looked at us like we were crazy.
Shoot, my parents, one is a pastor. Y'all know that because I've been very vocal about that. And my mama, God rest her soul, she has transitioned to the ancestors, okay? But she was a Sunday school teacher, and both my parents were Scorpios. If y'all thought that we was gonna play with a Ouija board in our house,
Good luck.
okay, think that if you want to. But hold
So
on, before we get to the Ouija board, let's not forget that these heifers was upstairs playing in antique clothing that wasn't covered up, wasn't no mothballs anywhere around.
well, we don't know that.
They
We
showed
don't
the whole
know.
attic. There
Yes,
wasn't no.
but that doesn't mean that the mothballs weren't scattered somewhere. We don't know that.
Mm,
That's not a thing that we know. We don't got that information.
And my biggest question is, why are these folks, so eager to explore the paranormal and make excuses for their exploration into the paranormal? Because if you tell them, no, I'm not going down this journey with you, they want to give you 50 million excuses and make you feel bad because you don't want to die because Aunt Martha from 1962 done came back. Oh, and that's another thing. Why did they make it seem like at that time, 1963 was equivalent to 1763? Because when they pulled out the clothes and what do you call it? The thing that had the little hole in it, the
The trunk.
chest. Yeah, the trunk. And they're like, "Oh, this is from 1960." They made it seem like 1963 was so far away. This, you know what? This, if I would have been more woke as a child, I'd have been like, "Yep, this is privilege. This is why they make all the pictures from the 60s that don't feature black people, that don't feature white people, black and white." Because they want us to make it seem like it was so far away. And I visited farms. Anybody who's followed me for a while know that I love to ride horses, and I go to two different farms to ride horses. I got friends and family that are connected to people on farms. Farms are not boring. There's always something going on a farm. Something done escaped, something you got to go take care of, somebody trying to come and infringe upon your land. Why do these teenagers think that farms are boring when they're on the farm with all the real drama? There's more drama that happens on a farm than in the city. So how is the farm always portrayed as boring and farm raised children portrayed as not knowing, like not being up on certain stuff, when I'm like, Farm raised kids are treated like adults from the time that they pop out the womb.
And see, it's the same. Well, see, you get the same dichotomy here with the farm mouse and the city mouse. It's the same thing.
Yep. And look, yeah, farm life. It is eventful. Whether you in high school or in there's always something going on or around a farm. And trust me, the biggest scandals happen on farms because somebody gets accused of sleeping with somebody's wife or stealing from somebody. It is a perpetual soap opera. Like when I used to live deeper in Kentucky, there were some people that I got to know, I got cool with, I was able to go out to their farm. Now, part of their farm, you could, they have cabins where you could go and hunt at certain times of the year and hunt on their land.
Hmm.
One daughter opened a catering business, and baby, the drama surrounding that catering business, whoo, like you can't make this up. Because she couldn't cook, but she kept getting clients.
Okay, let's not delve into that. Let's not put people's business out in the street.
I'm not doing that, but I'm saying like everything surrounding this farm, I would just sit back and be like, my city friends don't be in this much stuff.
Well, continuing on, basically, she has to feed these hounds in order to complete her task so that her spirit can rest. And I'm just like, girl, really? Over some dogs? That's what you were worried about for the last 30 years. And I'm just like, the
And
fact that
she
these
never
girls
told
have
her
no
sister,
fear.
but she never told her sister that. But she decided to unleash this and unveil this to her juvenile nieces and nephews when she possessed the country girl and was like,
Who
I
looked
don't
like
have
her.
any I don't have any nieces. My siblings are 10. But you've been haunting your niece's mama, your sister for decades. And you ain't told her what was going to bring you peace, but you decided to spring this on the kids so the kids could fix it. And once again, how come none of these kids go to an adult?
I'm just saying. But it's just really confusing that all this time that was what you needed to do to complete your unfinished business and move on, and you didn't think to tell anybody else that.
Well, see, part of me thinks that maybe a smidget of it was told to the mother because in these shows, one thing that I've noticed, and I wrote this down, and this was my question: why do parents have ridiculous secrets? And then part A, why do they use it as a form of control? Because the country girl's mama legitimately used the family secret to control her. She never told her daughter the full influx of how her aunt died, what was going on. No, nothing. She just used it as control. And just like when she was trying to feed the horse, the mother didn't come up, get out the car, and go up to her and be like, baby, I told you not to be close to the horses. She blowing the horn, holding on to the horn, where it freaks out her own daughter, and her daughter falls off of a fence, which could have been more detrimental than just getting out the car and telling her, like, baby, we don't play with the horses. But you still out in the country adjacent to horses, and you still have horses on your farm. They had a whole stable. So it became a form of control. And it's like, why try to control your children? How about you just raise them and give them good information and let them become good adults?
So then, so basically, they solve the mystery. She lets her daughter ride, and that's the end of the episode. Blah blah blah. Moving on, episode 6, the tale of the super specs, and here we come again to this question where we have people who don't pay attention to what they're doing. So again, we come to this tale where these two individuals, one is a prankster and just doesn't take things seriously, which again, this was really, 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 really detrimental to the fact that they had a black person play this role. And
But
I'm looking at this and I'm just like, again, looking at it from 1996, I didn't think about it then. I didn't make the connection that I make now as an adult rewatching this, because I was just like, oh my God, these kids are crazy. Why are they doing this? Blah, blah, blah.
oh, but I
But now
did
as an
notice
adult, I'm just
something.
like,
I did notice something about that actor, the black child.
mhm.
He made a living off of being that annoying character. Off of
Yeah,
being,
no.
and I'm
Hmm.
like, and see, here's my thing. Let's put a pin in the fact that he was black and went against everything that every black person like we don't even our parents don't even have to tell us certain things. We instinctively know to stay away from certain things, but we're gonna put a pin in that and come back to it. But my thing is, why is voodoo especially considered a laughing or joking matter in all of these shows? Like they will take other
Well, magic in
forms
general. Just magic in general.
of mysticism seriously. But when they take when colonizers take voodoo and decided to take voodoo practices and put it into their magician shops where they know magicians don't use voodoo, they make it a joking matter, but make the falsism of magic serious. Like they take magic seriously, but not the actual practice of voodoo seriously.
Sweetie,
Because the
they take
opening
that. They
scene,
take all they
the
take
the
all magic in general
but
as it's
the
not here.
opening scene of this episode, the little boy who happened to be black was behind the counter. Because when I saw it, I instantly remembered the episode. And I remember thinking that he worked at this magic shop, and he didn't. Like the owner slash employee was in the back. This little boy was behind the counter with free range of everything. And then when the owner slash attendant comes out, he's like, "Oh, can I interest you in this? This is real magic." That's pseudo. That's pseudoism. You got voodoo spells and artifacts in your business, but you're selling pseudoism. But I digress.
Again, they take any form of magic that's produced in here, whether it's actual magic, whether it's different practices of magic, different practices of religions. It doesn't matter. They take them all with a grain of salt, all of them, and throughout this series alone. Now, granted, most of them are ghost stories. Most of them are, again, cursed into such situations. But for the most part, I can't see your face. There you go.
I'm trying to adjust so I can see you better. We're good.
Okay.
No, you
So,
gotta realize these are like they put the double Blu-ray. Like all of my glasses, I get the Blu-ray in them because I spend the vast majority of my day on computers.
mhm.
If you notice, these are the only glasses that when I'm on camera, they darken. So it can start to make it difficult for me to see, but I can't really run upstairs and get another pair of glasses right now. So I'm trying to adjust my screen
Mhm.
because when these glasses darken, it darkens what I see also. So I'm trying to adjust the lighting. So my apologies, anybody.
It's okay. So basically, like I said, any form of otherness is treated as a joke. But to be honest, we were speaking about this yesterday. Where's this disposable income coming from?
Yes,
Where?
That was my next question.
Where is this disposable income coming from? Because I know I didn't have the allowance I got quarters, a dollar here and
And my
there.
thing is, I don't know about y'all, but like I was telling DMAC, we had consequence payments. So before we got our allowance on Friday. So if you didn't do your chores, and we had a chart, whatever chores you didn't do, that was you had to go down through the deductions. If if you were normally a B student, and in that week you brought home C's and D's, you got deductions. Because my parents knew everybody wasn't gonna be an A student. It's what you traditionally showed them your grades was gonna be. They knew when you were acting a fool in class because your grades would reflect it. You got deductions. So there might be some weeks didn't nan one of us get an allowance. Or we may have gotten a quarter each or a dime each because after we got deductions.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it is what it is. But our parents also prepared us for the real life. Because if you late to work after a certain point, they deduct that out of your check. If
Sure
you do
enough.
certain stuff, they deduct that out of your check. Like my parents, and because people go, your parents deducted from your allowance. Yes, they did, and
Yes.
they should have. There's no reason to give us a false sense of adulthood. So I'm like, I would not have had a disposable income. Shoot, if I got my whole allowance, I got to go to the corner store, which was actually two corners down from my house. And as an adult, I now know that I was able to get stuff because my daddy knew the owner of said corner store.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when I think back to even the prices we had then in my allowance, I'm like, I shouldn't have been able to walk away with the stuff that I was able to walk away with when I got my full allowance. Cause I'm a gamer, and before we had gaming systems in the house, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Sister girl was at every arcade, and there was one arcade near my house that, like, on Friday nights, they did discounts for high school students. So if your high school actually gave you uh an ID card, and you could take that ID card in, they would just keep a record of it. Like if you came in as a freshman, they would write down good for, so many years. Like whenever you brought it in, they would
Mm-hmm.
keep track of you. So after that, if you didn't bring in like a college ID card after that, you had to pay full price. And baby, once I found out about that place, that's where my allowance was spent. I ain't gonna lie. And across the parking lot was a 99-cent movie theater. And yes, the movie was old, but they was new to me because they were movies that, yes, they were heavily censored. But think about it. You 16, 17 years old. You get to go see a movie that you don't need your parents to see, even though you may not see all of the scenes. You thought you was big stuff. So after 3, 4 hours of me being able to game and play all of my games, and at that time, my thing was Mortal Kombat, and I get to play Mortal Kombat for 10 cents a game, not a
Hey.
quarter, 10 cents a game. Baby, you couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna be there. You couldn't tell me I wasn't going every Friday. And we had a routine. My daddy would drop us off, and whatever friend was coming with me, they mama or daddy would pick us up and take us back home. Unless my Uncle Ronnie, God rest his soul, was at my house, that he would come back and pick us up because he liked a certain restaurant. So if he picked us up, we would go to that restaurant and eat in the car on our way back. And the whole thing was, don't tell nobody you ate this. And we good. We liked our burgers and fries, okay? And it was once again free. So your allowance got doubly extended. But how you out here solo dolo? Because the little black boy pretty much bought up the store. He got magical dust, glasses, cards, monkey paws.
Another thing is there's no fear of magical consequences at all. At all. And I'm like, okay,
Well,
Okay.
not only that, but here's my issue with this episode. The boyfriend, the black boyfriend, was the one that drug his white girlfriend into the mystical shop because he's the one that believed in magic through the whole episode. But then when she was having majestical experiences, he didn't want to believe in her. While simultaneously still using magic to try to be petty. Like, you don't believe that she's telling you she's having mystical experiences, while at the same time, you're trying to use mysticism to prank people and to win a basketball game. A basketball game.
And to make somebody's voice change, because he did do that with a girl, which didn't happen when he thought it was going to happen. It happened after the fact. I'm like, dude, you're literally sitting here casting spells, and you're not literally. You're avoiding the consequences.
He wasn't giving it any time to set in. And the situation that his girlfriend and subsequently him got into, he created because he wasn't taking it seriously.
So point of order there. So one, no parents again. Again, no parents. Parents don't exist in this universe for some reason. Hers or his. And then, okay, we get to this shop owner, because he is the owner of the shop. He is the owner. He is the owner of there. But I'm just like, first of all, sir, if you don't know what you're doing, then you shouldn't be selling anything. Second of all, you're going to read the same exact thing that he read at the beginning of the episode to try and close it when you know that opens it.
Well, here's the thing. I can't 100% blame him for that because the girlfriend who at the beginning of the episode, the boyfriend was standing on one side of the counter, she was standing on the other. But when a child in this series finally decides to ask for the help of an adult, and this adult had to know something was going on because all of a sudden he shut down his shop and didn't open it at all until she said certain words to him. But I digress. So she gets in. She's now able to look at the book. She was the only one there, only one present when her boyfriend read what he read. She should have then said, "Oh, he read this wrong. He read it backwards." She didn't say that.
Well, not even that. The spell is written backwards. That's the thing. And see, there were two ways to counter that. One, you read it forwards because he already read it backwards to do the opening. If you want something to close, you read it works in the opposite way. You have to read it forwards now. The second one was the second one that he read at the end, which cost them into, ending up the way they ended up because they had opened the window even further. So you couldn't close the window now because you should have, if you had read it forwards or you had read the sealing spell first, then you wouldn't have had this problem.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to remember, like the person says at the end of the episode, both of them had done this at the same exact time. The universes were separate, and when both of them read the thing at the same time, it opened them on both ends.
Yeah.
And as both can't exist in the same time frame, this is what happened. But the consequences...
And the shop owner refused to be honest, even to the very end, realizing the consequences that were happening. And for those that go, "Oh, he didn't understand the consequences." Yes, he did. Because he turned around and looked at the girl and told her to put the specs on again to see who was then coming for them. So he knew what she was seeing and what she was experiencing was the truth, because she could throw away the glasses, throw them down on the floor, toss them into fire. She'd take a few steps. The glasses would be back in her hand, back in her purse, back in her backpack. She threw them on the ground and ran out to her boyfriend. And before she could even start talking to him, they were back in her hand. But My biggest issue when she went to go visit the shop owner,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't she consult her boyfriend and have him meet them there? And why did the boyfriend, how was the boyfriend able to buy the only sack of magic? Oh, that's right. Because the colonizing owner was the only one. He was the Tigger of the situation.
But it's just really, and then the punishment at the end, I was just like, you could have just closed it.
Right, because if my thing is why, here's the thing, if the whole issue was that parallel universes now knew the other one existed and people could crisscross back and forth, just close it. You didn't have to contain three people from one universe because that does not stop people from crisscrossing the universes.
Or if we're taking it in the actual sense that she trapped them and the universe in the crystal, we can't really honestly know if
No,
that's the
she's at
case.
the end she said, she specifically talked about just those three people. If you go back and watch, oops, it's those three people.
Oh no,
That's
I
what.
see them in the crystal, which
No, but
again.
that's who she talked about. Because remember, we talked about it last night. Like, wait a minute, these three people are not the whole universe.
True.
Don't touch it, gentlemen.
Sorry, it was gonna come out regardless whether I stopped it or not.
Okay,
But
so now we're on to our last
episode
episode.
7, episode 7, the tale of the
The
captured
captured soul.
souls. Now, this one, I can honestly say, in both aspects of creepiness and scaredness, I
And
can see.
colonization.
Well, it's not so much colonization.
Oh, it's
Let's be real.
colonization because they didn't have to do that black child like they did.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. We got time. We got time to get to that tonight.
Yeah, we got time tonight. We done made time because we woohoo.
So here's the deal.
Oh,
Here's the deal.
you give the synopsis. I'm gonna run and go get water, so I'm gonna uh blow you up so I can go get water. Okay.
You don't have to blow me up.
Yes, I
Huh?
do because I can't have a blank space over here. So go ahead.
Good lord. Whatever. So here's the thing. So basically, the episode starts off with this family, a black family. Um, Basically, at this particular point, they're going on vacation, and I hate to say this, but we don't go on vacations to lakes. Have you ever noticed that? Like black people do not go to lakes. We don't visit them. Like on the whole, I don't know what it is. Like we do not visit there. Like that is not something that is an attraction for us. Like at all. But somehow or other, these people go on this vacation to this lake, and it says in the brochure that it'll be a trip you never forget. Well, honey, it was. And I'll say this to even before the episode, even the story even starts. The teller of the story makes a reference to how most tribes, either in Africa or here, did not want their pictures taken. Like they did not want that to happen. Like
Because
for
they
them,
felt that the pictures would take their soul.
it just didn't. It just did not work. Side point, which is an actually excellent side point. There's an episode in Warehouse 13, I think it is, season 2, where it involves a camera that does what his machine does.
Oh yeah, and there's a whole movie dedicated to a camera taking souls. I'll have to look up the name of it, but yeah, I
So
I watched it this week, not knowing I couldn't. I know you told me the episodes that we were going to watch, and I remember bits and pieces of episode 7, and I couldn't remember all of it.
mhm.
And you know me, I started watching movies, and but um, a little known secret in some sub Caribbean cultures, and let me make this clear, sub Caribbean cultures, because when I talk about Caribbean cultures, some people go, oh, it's not all of us. But there are some subcultures that even to this day, there are elders within the culture that still will not let you take their picture because they believe that. My granny was one of those. She hated having her picture taken. And I had one family member that would try to sneak and take her picture, and it would drive my granny crazy. But you also have to realize my granny grew up in a culture where photography was new. And if you think about when photography first started and how they took pictures, it looked very it looked like something out of mysticism, because you have somebody standing there, one hand on this, one hand on a big apparatus, a big puff of smoke. And when pictures first came around, the vast majority of pictures were people taking their dead relatives, putting makeup on them to make them look alive so that they could have a final picture with them, because pictures were expensive. So a lot of times people didn't take pictures with people until they died, and they tried to make them look alive. And shortly after a lot of these pictures were taken, the folks who did that died themselves. So I can get why people felt the way that they felt.
So basically, they get there, and basically, it's a trick of the light where he has all these mirrors in his house, and basically, what they do is they help him suck the youth out of people, basically stealing their soul so he can remain young. But
Well, we did
here's
learn
the
that,
here's
we did learn that he put cameras in the back of these mirrors.
we're gonna get there. We're getting there. We're getting to the technology here because I got a lot to say on this one. I wrote a couple of notes on this one. So first of all, when they get there, good lord, when they get there, and he comes out of the house, the father, the literal father in this case, looks at his wife and like,
Because this was an Airbnb before Airbnb had a title. So they were supposed to have, the key was supposed to be left. What was it on the
well, no, this was
on the
a
door
bed and
frame?
breakfast, a bed and
Yeah.
breakfast.
No, it wasn't a bed and breakfast.
It was a bed and breakfast, darling. That's what he said.
Oh yeah, he called it a bed and breakfast, but in a bed and breakfast,
It's an Airbnb, what
right?
we would
It
call
Yeah,
Airbnb now.
they
But
misnamed it, but the key was supposed to be left on top of the door frame.
yeah, it wasn't.
When the daughter was looking for the key, dude came out and opened the door like, hey, had dark bags under his eyes and everything else. They're going through a couple days. The daughter, only the daughter, and she doesn't even share this with her parents, figures out that this dude is living in the attic and messing with them, because the daughter and the father were playing softball outside, throwing the ball back and forth. Dude comes out. It was like, oh, I'm not athletic. The mother comes out to take a picture. He freaks out and was like, oh no, I'll take a picture of y'all. And while they're sitting there, not even looking at the picture, they just took a picture and was like, we did this all come together. Not even looking at the picture. He's up there with a menacing grin, looking at the picture like this. I got him now. Like, and then the parents start rapidly aging, and they don't even get in their head that they're rapidly aging. They go from being young and vivacious, hair fried, dyed, laid to the side, and everything. And then they notice that the daughter is breaking out, and they're like, oh, well, when we get back home, I'll get you some cream. Bitch, if I ain't had big old boils on my face my whole life, how we go on vacation and I got big old boils on my face? There's not a phone in this house. There's not a TV in this house. The only thing that's modern in this house is the electricity, and by electricity I mean the lights.
So then let's add even more salt into this wound. Why? 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 Why is this girl not allowed to be a girl? Why
Because
does
she
she
black.
have to be athletic? Why does she have to be sporty? Why can't she be a girly girl? Is there
But
anything
you
wrong with
can
that?
be
No.
athletic and sporty and still be a girly girl.
I'm not
Because
saying that, but they made an emphasis to the fact that
yes, they
she's
did.
physically strong and she's
Because
she's
even
ah.
even when the dude, the creepy dude, said you can do whatever you want to do. What do you want to do? She started doing chin ups. Now, as a black woman who grew up as a black girl that was athletic, we all know, if you don't watch me for a while, and DMAC, you know, as my good friend, as my cousin, you know I'm girly than a motherfucker, right? Yes, I am still athletic. I could probably whoop your ass in basketball. I love to fish. I love to go horseback riding. I love all sorts of athletic things. But I am still I'm still feminine. And I'm not saying every woman who does this has to be feminine, but they did her like society does the Williams sisters. Because let's not face it. Let's face it. They made her darker skin than her parents. And they always take the darker skin black girls and black women and they masculinize us. We can't be feminine in any way. We can't have a duality. We just have, they put us in 1D.
And I'm just like,
We
come
can't
on
have
now.
layers. We cannot have layers. And they made this girl the most masculine thing ever. But here's the thing. But then they made her to the point where she wanted to impress the cute boy. They when they started putting the boils on her face, then they were like, "Oh, she's now self-conscious." But she was self-conscious how a boy would be self-conscious. She had a problem with this creepy dude calling her by her God-given name that her parents gave her, but didn't have a problem when her parents called her that name. Did you catch that?
Her mother called her Danny. She didn't call her Danielle. Her mother called her Danny. Mm-hmm.
But
Just saying.
I'm like, why? And it's like, and the thing about it is, the young lady telling this story was a lighter skinned black girl who
Another
was the
thing.
actual tomboy who legitimately did not. And trust me, I understand because I embrace everything that there is about me. Do I get uncomfortable when people try to over sexualize me? Yes, it is very creepy. It puts me in a weird place, but we can talk about that on another day at another time. But my thing is, I don't deny the fact that I am a woman. I don't deny.
I'm just
And
saying
my
this
best
that
friend
they could
even
have they
said this week, I don't like, and you know this, I do not like my full legal name. Because anybody who knows my full legal name, it's an animal. And that's why I have an issue with it. And there are people that are like, oh, it's so beautiful, but it's an animal. Like, a large part of my name is a bunch of animals tossed together. That's why I have an issue with it. But if someone knows my name, like there are people in my family that know my name, that call me by my name. Heck, my grandchildren, their name for me is a nickname based off of my first name. Okay, whoop de whoop. I have no problem with that, correct?
nope.
I'm not out here going, oh, don't call me that, don't. But I don't like it. And the only reason I don't like it is, like I said, it's attached to an animal. I don't want to be associated with an animal. I don't think my parents were thinking about that when they originally named me. That's fine. And most people either call me by my nickname or just use my middle name, and that's fine. That's cool. That's all fine. But to take this unkept, darker skinned black child. And my thing is, at the very beginning, we roll up. Yeah, they in a drop top, but the parents are fried, dyed, laid to the side, and this child is looking like a woolly mammoth. And then comes in, doesn't ask for a brush. And at this time, we're not even gonna talk about edge control because we weren't concerned about edge control back then. But she didn't ask for no pink oil moisturizer, no blue magic, none of that.
Something, anything.
Cause that's what we was using back then. Let's be real.
So we're gonna move on from that one because that we will be here all night. The next point,
and did anybody catch in this episode that the creepy dude was a Mennonite? He was a German Mennonite. They're adjacent to the Amish, but they do embrace technology. Mennonites do. You'll see Mennonites on a Greyhound, stuff like that. They'll still be dressed in old clothing, just like he was, but they do embrace technology.
I didn't know that, but thanks for the upkeep.
Yeah, the dude was, and that's why I'm shocked that the father didn't catch that. Not only was dude a Mennonite, he was dressed as an older Mennonite, because I caught that really quickly. Because younger Mennonites, you won't see them with the suspenders on.
But let's move on from that, because again, we will be here all night and we ain't got that much time. So the next point I have here is, okay, if he's been doing this for a while, since 1907, apparently that was the year that was on the photo. That was pre-electricity era. Well, it's right around that same time frame. Like, it literally comes into that factors in. So I'm just like, how are you doing this? Like, how?
And how are you doing it without the lights flickering? Because the makeup, that house never changed. If you looked at the decor and everything of that house, never. So how was there no flickering of the lights?
How is it that the machinery made no noise?
Because
and nobody heard anything.
Here's the thing, and Damc can attest to this because he's been on the phone with me and we've had conversations. I have two neighbors that I am very cool with. They're amazing people, but there's some things that they can do in their house that does affect my house. Correct, Damc? Mm-hmm. We talked mm-hmm. about that. You've even been on the phone with me where certain sounds have happened and I'm like, oh, that's my, like, I know now it's my neighbor because we talk to each other. Mm-hmm. They can do stuff and it will affect the sound over here. It's not horrible, so I don't complain about it. Like, once every 6 months, it ain't a big deal. But trust and believe, if this is happening in my house and pulling that much electricity, because there was no generator anywhere.
Not that I saw.
And just to even hit the button
or power lines
to convert his bedroom over into, as Dexter would say, a laboratory, that should have made some noise because you got stuff moving in and out of walls.
I'm just saying, I'm like,
and
ooh.
When they showed the outside, when they were playing softball, because they were playing softball, not baseball, because you could tell by the pitch.
And when the ball.
When you pitch like this and you got a ball that you got
like
to hold
literally the size of your hand.
And not like this, there were no power lines. Now, they were near water. So if you have a good supply of water and you got a good supply of potatoes, but I didn't see a potato farm, and dude was real leery about them going into the woods, but we found out that's just where he had buried people. Where were you getting your power supply from? Because without the combination of water and potatoes
or power lines,
let's be real. If you don't have power lines, yes, he had a whole lake for the water, but where's the potatoes? And if you don't understand what I'm talking about regarding the potatoes, Google is free.
You missed science class.
Cause
I'm just saying.
I ain't got enough time to explain to you. Like the
Potato
amount
clock.
the amount of potatoes plus the water he would have needed to make it silent and make it work, and given the time frame, because DMAC is right. When that first picture was taken and then they did the flashback regarding when he started his experiments and when he started reversing time on himself, he was basically insinuating that Edison and the Edison 8 did not exist, and that he created electricity and allowed other people to catch up to the concept. So if he allowed other people to catch up to the concept, he should have had a whole forest of potatoes on top of his lake.
Or, point of order there, Edison did do this. He came up with the experiment, but he couldn't finalize it until electricity is invented. And by that time, he's probably in his early 30s or 40s. And he's like, okay, this is what I needed to finish my experiment. Now I can actually conduct it and reverse the aging process.
Well, you know, Edison.
I'm just saying, just as a point of order.
I'm just saying, Edison didn't come up with the Edison.
I know. I'm just saying. In that realm of universe.
I'm sorry. You know, sometimes I get very literal. My apologies.
I'm just saying, like in this term, he probably was trying out the experiment, failing because he didn't have the necessary electricity to actually make the experiment work. So by this time,
no, he didn't have the 8 black men.
Shush. Will you shush again? He didn't have. What I'm saying is, he didn't have the necessary conduit to. He didn't have electricity to make the experiment work. He needed some way to basically make the electricity go through, basically do the transference. Yes, will we agree on that?
Yeah, he needed melanin.
As I get that, I'm gonna punch you. I swear.
He needed melanin. He needed melanin. Like
will you just work with me?
Wait, y'all like my shirt today? Hey.
Yes, it's nice. But will you just work with me right now, please?
Yeah.
Just let's not. We get it. We get that 8 black people invented electricity. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Well, 9 if you include Latimer, who gave us the filament.
Anyway, just listen. But I'm just saying the electric.
Oh, they sitting nice on my. Never mind. I don't need a CGV. I was about to say something I shouldn't say. Go ahead. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, let's continue and just work with me here. That's all I'm asking.
I was just.
So let's just say the 8 black men have invented electricity. He didn't have the electricity to make the transference work. So once they invented that, he's like, now I have the rest of the ingredients to do what I need to do. Is that okay? We good now?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I just want people to look at my shirt.
We get it. 8 black people invented that. We got it. Fully understand.
I just want to talk about the ladies on my shirt, but go ahead.
We don't talk about the villains on Freeform Friday. We ain't got time for it now.
Oh, good. I'm gonna wash this shirt and I'm gonna wear it again on Friday.
There you go. See, look at that. We filled out a plan.
Y'all realize I'm gonna wash the shirt first. I'm not a colonizer.
Anyway,
I said what I said.
Anyway. So once he gets that, so by that, so when was this invented?
When was what invented?
When was the whole form for the light bulb and everything invented?
About 3 years after his picture was taken.
So by that time, he was probably in his early 20s, mid-20s, early 20s, because he looked around that age then. So I
think he was older only because his grandchildren knew who he were. Because there was one picture that they kind of flashed. So he was married, which is fucked up that he didn't even try to give his wife youth, and he had children. He didn't try to give them youth. He was just selfish as shit.
Well, see, here's the thing. It doesn't sit. I don't know, because the picture that they showed up there.
Hold on, wait a second.
Hold on.
What is my child saying?
DMAC, let's move on. Taz, and also then DMAC, you people like my shirt. But no.
So DMAC, I'll be sending you 2 Christmas gifts this year, cause my child done he just let me know that I can donate his gift to someone else. He decided to be the St. Jude of the children.
Shenanigans. I can't with y'all. Come on, let's go. But I'll say this. If he did do that, fine. If he didn't do that and wasn't married and that was his grandfather in the picture along with him and he came up with the experiment, grandfather probably gave some notes because they were probably both very smart people. Whatever happened, happened. I'm not going to debate that. At this particular point, what I'm debating is that these parents notice the creepiness, notice it, and still do nothing.
And see, that's my thing. Not only that, why are boundaries never respected? Like, never, ever, ever respected. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's the boundaries of the villain, where the villain goes, hey, this is my space. Don't mess with me. I won't mess with you. Somebody has to cross over it. Or if it's the victim that goes, hey, these are my boundaries. Nobody respects boundaries here. But my biggest thing is, why did she never tell her parents that he was living in the attic? Why is it that nobody thought that it was weird that nobody could go beyond the trees? The parents didn't realize that they were rapidly aging. And when she showed her father that there were wires in the mirror, the father was like, just clean the mess up. No, that doesn't fit well with me. And this is my biggest question. Why did he have a tombstone if he never died?
That part.
Because she discovered his tombstone, but he never died. Even at the end, when he reverted to the old man that he really was and was telling her, like, appreciate your youth. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but youth, here's my stance on youth. You are as young as you feel. So your youth lasts as long as you allow it to last. If you put into your mind, oh, I'm old and decrepit, you're going to feel old and decrepit. At 44, I don't feel old. I get up, I jump up. You don't see me with the tiny humans. We get up here and we act a damn fool, right?
Yep.
We go everywhere together. I be at the games. We go to the park. We walk around everywhere together. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, I'm old.
I get it.
But my thing is, I'm like, when did we decide? Once you get to a certain age, you're supposed to give up.
Well, I see. I think, okay, I'll give you a thing for that. I think in the 90s and prior to that, that form of thinking was the normal thinking. After the 90s into the early 2000s and 2010s, I can't believe I have to say that now. Where 30 was now even 30 people. Now I will say the younger generations after all was looking at 30 like, oh my God, I'm 30. But even now 40 is now the new 30. 50 is now the new 40.
That's that Kim Kardashian shit where she's like, oh, my life is ending, I'm turning 30. I'm like, bitch, you done look 30 since she was 16. Get the fuck over it.
I'm just like, where you got the the moms that are in their 50s not looking like they're in their 50s, and so on and so forth. It's being reversed. And see, that form of thinking didn't take come into effect until after, like, the 90s into the early 2000s and 2010s. Like, that form of thinking did not take effect until then. So the 90s into that, they were still coming down from the baby boomer age, where once you got up to 50, yeah, that's
And
50 years
you know
old.
what? You're right, because I noticed a lot of women who had a particular style. Then when they turned a certain age, they just automatically changed their style, and that aged them. Where it's like, that's not how you've been dressing up until now. Why would you change what was comfortable? Okay, tonight, the third place we went on our date night,
Hmm.
I noticed something that sent me into an internal laugh fest. And y'all don't think that I'm mean, but you could tell that the wife was trying to convince the husband to be young. And you can be young in your own style. And let me be clear on this, in your own style, with what you're comfortable with.
Hmm.
This man had on, uh I call them sweatpants shorts. I don't know what they're really called, but they're made out of the same material that you generally get sweatpants out of, but they're
Uh,
shorts.
hmm.
He had them creased with a t-shirt with some Nike slides on and some Nike socks. Where you could tell this man, and the way he was walking in it, you could tell he was not comfortable. Old girl had on um one of the tube shirts that you tie back behind your neck, but it was creased on the side. And when I say creased, it was like iron creased, not like brand new out of the package creased. Because like if you buy something and don't wash it first before you wear it, it can have certain creases in it. No, that's not what I'm talking about.
I get what you're talking about.
And then her shorts were creased also, and I'm like, this isn't what y'all comfortable with wearing. And then everybody else at the table, because as I was walking past, and because we went to a sports bar to watch a game, and the game we wanted to watch was over their heads, so you had to look in that direction to watch the game.
Hmm.
You weren't really trying to watch them.
Hmm.
Everybody else had embraced who they were and where they were in their life. They were
Hmm.
comfortable, but you could tell who the fashionistas were and who the comfort nistas was. Okay, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm putting
I
down.
know, I know.
And you could tell that their style had just evolved with their age. Like, because you could tell when somebody's a fashionista that's just gotten older, where they might uh accent a little different. You know, they might put some splashes of color in that the rest of us wouldn't think about, but they don't live long enough to know, oh, these splashes of colors work. This type of jewelry works, where we're still trying to get to that part. And then you can tell the people that's just comfortable. Like, okay, I really want to keep my pajamas on, so I put on something that's closest to my pajamas to come out here with y'all. Okay, cool, fine, everything is cool. But then you had that couple that I just explained to y'all. And when I say, I was like, okay, maybe I'm tripping.
Nope.
So I start scanning the restaurant. Everybody is like on this couple. Like, y'all ain't fooling nobody. Like, even the waitress was looking at them like, this some bullshit. Like, this some bullshit. And you know me and Frenchie. I have my style, he has his style. We don't try to make the other person compliment us. You know what I mean? If he could wear pajamas out in public, he would. You know this. You know he would. And that's fine. I love him for being who he is. He loves me for being who I am. And this is what okay, hold on. This is the full with the shorts. This is what I had on. Nothing spectacular, but this is part of me.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you the chick had on these wedge heels, and you know how somebody has taken stilettos and taken them to a cobbler to get them turned into something that they should not be?
So wait a minute. Are we talking like full church block sandals?
She took stilettos and took them to a cobbler and got them turned into full church block.
Are we talking like Monica church block sandals?
She took 6-inch stilettos and turned them into the Monica shoes.
No.
That's
Girl.
that's what got everybody's attention from the beginning, because you know you can't take six
Girl.
inch stilettos and turn them into anything. So of course you can't walk right in them, right? Because
Girl, what were you thinking?
the stiletto is still in there, right? So your equilibrium is going to be off, right?
Yeah.
That's what got everybody's attention from the beginning. And then we were looking at the outfits like,
Girl. Girl. What?
and when I tell you this is place number 3 that we went, and I ordered nachos and I ate them nachos while I was sitting there watching her go through her shenanigans of trying to go to the bathroom, trying to go outside to see the band that was playing live outside,
Oh my
and then come
God,
back,
no.
and she was walking like a baby elephant.
Oh, no. No. Girl, no.
Because imagine the Monica shoes with a stiletto still.
That she got clowned for.
But the thing, you could still see the stiletto with what she had put around it. So you know she went to a cobbler, and she didn't go to a good cobbler.
No.
And for those of y'all that don't know what a cobbler is, it's somebody that works on shoes.
Works on shoes. If we have to explain that, you should be ashamed of yourself.
But you could see, when I tell you could see it, like they didn't. Okay, you know, you can get any shoe change into anything, but usually they take the base off. Like they take that off and just use the base, right? They
Yep.
didn't take it off. You could see it.
Good Lord. She must have looked ridiculous. She must have looked ridiculous. I don't even know how she made it to dinner.
And it was woven. You know, like the
Yeah, I
everybody's
know.
parents had that one chair, that one fan in their house in the 80s and
Mhm.
90s. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, I know. Yep, I already know, honey.
Oh, but back to the episode. Can we talk about the fact that an elderly man was trying to convince a teenage girl
Oh
to
Lord, I
let
knew it was
her
coming.
parents die and come live with him?
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I knew you weren't gonna let it lay low forever.
Oh, I had it at the bottom of my list.
I knew it was coming. I said, watch her say it. Watch her say it.
How R. Kelly of him? Because this
Oh,
man was
jeez.
damn near 100 years old at that time. But
Yep.
he's sitting there trying hard to convince an actual teenager to come stay with him. Come on, you can do whatever you want. You can have whatever you like. How very Weinstein. How very Kelly of him. The foot. Mm-mm.
Here's my thing. Because here, since you brought it up, let's go. Let's take it there. I've seen a clip of Miss McGowan doing her bestest to try and get Larry Elder hired for governor of California. Thank God it didn't work. But she sits here blaming Obama and his daughter who wasn't even a twinkling in his eye, in her daddy or mama eye in 1997, because she was born in 1998, and when your assault happened, that was in 1997. So how in God's green earth, when she went to intern, which is basically a layman's term for gopher. If I tell you to go for coffee, if I tell you to go pick up them files, if I tell you to go pick up some food, my dog needs to be walked, anything that they ask you to do at this internship, that's what you do. She probably wasn't even in his vicinity, probably making sure that his secretary had her stuff done, so that when he called the secretary, oh yes, it's done, sir, I did it myself, knowing she didn't. So I'm just like, her interning for, again, the company, not necessarily Harvey Weinstein himself. How did she plan this? How did your downfall in 1997 get planned by somebody who wasn't even alive yet? Explain. Ma'am, pull your receipts that you're saying that this girl who interned for somebody who she did not know or didn't have any connections to.
But my thing
The fact that the
how
fact
did
wait
you
wait hold
have
on hold on wait 1 second. The fact that Oprah and Obama are friends, and that she and Harvey Weinstein are friends, does not make a connection to the fact that Obama sat there and be like, I'm just gonna let Harvey Weinstein do what he wants. He didn't even know him that well. How? His children doesn't even know him that well. They may know the movies that his company produced, but they didn't know him very well. So please tell me, why are you, who co-opted the Me Too movement from a black woman who started it for black women, are now sitting there coming for a black woman? You're not making sense.
And my thing is, when she interned for the Weinstein Company, it had already been taken over by a woman.
And his brother.
So let's go by that part. His brother wasn't there for the day to day. But also, if you're claiming that Weinstein was so horrible and he took you down in 97, why did you do 2 shows and 3 movies under his company
Just saying.
after that? Because my thing is, I can understand wanting to eat and wanting to work, but Jada Pinkett Smith said it perfectly this past week. That yes, there are jobs she didn't get. And she even threw Gabrielle Union's name into it. When I was on Facebook and I saw the little sound bite. And I'm going by the sound bite. I didn't see the whole interview, or if there was a whole interview, so y'all don't come for my neck. But this woman said, all money ain't good money. And there are times that you have to turn things down. But make sure that when you wake up in the morning, you're okay with what you did the night before. And she said, was there times that I may not have gotten the next 3 jobs, but a job still came? And that's the truth. And let me add this on.
Mm-hmm.
People can call you whatever they want to call you. If it ain't your name, don't answer to it and don't give it any light.
Sure enough.
Because there are people that will fangirl after you today. And the only reason they're fangirling after you is because they feel that you are wrong, as Miss Cecily Tyson would say, a rung on the ladder for them to climb higher. But they don't realize they can't put their foot on a rung, because the rung doesn't have any metal behind it. It's going to fall apart. And it falls apart because you did not make that connection genuinely.
Yep.
So be weary of the motherfuckers that claim that they know so much about you today, but all they were your fangirls yesterday. Take that how you want to take it. But that brings us to the conclusion of tonight's episode of Childhood Rewind. And are we going back to 2 episodes, or are we going to keep it at 3? What are we doing? Or are we going to discuss it and then let the people know later?
A second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are There are 6 episodes on the second disc. We can do 2 or we can do 3. Either is your option.
Uh, I'd say let's do 2 a week.
I'm good with that because again, there's 2. There's already 6 on this episode.
Just because of the new schedule, and you know what I mean by the new schedule. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna go into detail on live. And
I got you. I got it.
So if you're okay with us just doing 2 a week, and keep in mind Saturdays we do the viewing party. So if you want to see all, you don't need clips. We run the whole episodes. We talk about it. We cook dinner together. We make snacks together. It's a whole party. It's a whole party. And don't think that because you got kids or you babysitting or you got animals you got to take care of, baby. We be all in there together. D-Mac will tell you we be all in there together. Kids cutting up, us cutting up, animals cutting up. Am I lying?
Nope. So if you guys want to join in to see the episodes that we're talking about the next day, please come to the viewing parties on Saturdays. They will be officially at 8:00 on Saturdays. Is that good for you? At 8:00 on Saturdays. We would love y'all to come through, watch with us, and then when we come to discuss it, if you have any opinions that you wanted to give, then you can either come on with us or even just be in the comments section. Yeah. We appreciate. We want more people to come in and enjoy the series with us because
and please know
it's great.
Anytime, if you all have not figured out, I am not a type of person that's like, oh my God, you can't join in with me. If you followed me for a while, there have been people that have gotten in the comment section like, can I come on? I want to talk about this. I add them as quickly as I can. We figure out through the comments how for me to send them the link. But I'm going to work on trying to create just one steady link where we can just meet up with every week. Give me a little bit of time to work that out because I don't know how many static links I can have on Zoom. So let me verify that because I do have static links that never change week by week. And I need to make sure I'm not breaking any rules over there and that I haven't like gone over my limit. If we can do that, then I can do that and we can both put it in our link trees. If we have to change it every week, we can change it every week. But like I said, just give me 2 days. I've already put an email out to the company. It usually takes them 2 days for them to get back to me. That's why I'm asking for 2 days. If we can have just one link where you all can just at your leisure just click in and come in, it'll be great. If we have to send it to everybody, we'll send it to everybody. But we have a good don't we we have a good time over there. And when I say we be over there cooking, folks be raising kids, folks be walking dogs, folks be playing with cats, we be making snacks. We do it all in the viewing party.
So yeah, definitely come through. I have this collection for a reason, so definitely come through, watch it, and hey buddy, hey cousin, look at cousin in the comments.
Cousin. Go cousin, get a cousin. You like my shirt? I'm gonna wear it again on Freeform Fridays. I'm about to wash it. I got a new villain shirt. But yeah, and if y'all don't follow me on Instagram, you might want to follow me on Instagram because I'm gonna work on my courage because there is a picture of my pre-40 body that I think I'm gonna rack up the courage to share.
You'll be fine.
Cause I look like a prepubescent 12-year-old boy, but I do like the dress. That dress is everything. You come on. That dress and them shoes was everything. I matched them perfectly because they didn't even come from the same place. Okay, Them shoes was Burlington when it was Burlington Coat Factory shoes, okay? And that dress was a TJ Maxx dress, but you couldn't tell me that it wasn't. You understand me, okay? So
Final thoughts.
I don't like these kids. So final thoughts for you, cousin?
Well, I mean, like I said, when I first got this 5 set of DVDs here, mind you, I was excited. I was entranced to literally relive my childhood
Yes.
because that Snick block was bomb back in the day.
And that's how we got the idea for the show.
And the Ren and Stimpy, the Are You Afraid of the Dark, Roundhouse, all that. I mean, that just made life as a preteen
But we need
so
to
much
find
fun.
Daria. We need to find Daria.
I think it's on HBO Max. I
No,
think. Don't quote me.
no, we need a box set of Daria so we can watch it when we want to watch it. I'm still on the lookout for Daria. You know my
Good
obsession with
luck with
Daria.
that. Good luck with
But
that.
yeah, but you know my obsession with Daria because I got the t-shirts, the sock. I even got the socks, y'all. I even bought the Daria makeup. There's
Again,
not an official Daria makeup, but if y'all watch the show Daria, you know what I mean by Daria makeup.
I mean, it was a phenomenon too. I mean, even undressed back in the day. That was a phenomenon too, because there were a lot of topics that were talked about in that
Oh,
show.
yes. And then the earlier episodes of how we discovered Mr. Aubrey, aka Drake.
Oh, Degrassi? Oh yeah, no, that. Well, see, here's the thing. If you go by pre Degrassi that's out now, like before that, like seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, possible five, like
Let's just go.
possible.
Let's just go 1 to 4. We're talking about our generation, so let's just keep it
Well,
in
no,
our generation.
five was cool. Five was cool because there was an episode dedicated, dedicated
I know what you're talking
to
about. I know what you're
to
talking
the
about.
alpha to us alphabet mafia people,
I know, but that episode
i.e.,
still made
Marco.
that episode still made me a little uncomfortable.
Again,
But
i.e.,
you know what?
Marco. I'm just saying.
But my thing is, maybe watching it now as an adult, I wouldn't. Maybe
I
my
mean, all of
may,
it's actually
may
on YouTube, though.
but my thing is maybe me feeling uncomfortable was because of the time. So I will give it that. But
All of them are actually on YouTube, by the way.
I know.
Seasons 1 through 4.
I just want to remind people that a lot of the shows that they love now, we crawled so that they could walk because they ain't even running yet.
Well, wait. If you want to be honest, before even Degrassi, 15. If we want to get real, 15 was out before then.
I wasn't even gonna go there. I was gonna.
Let's be real.
I wasn't even.
15,
I wasn't even gonna
15
go there.
was there. 15 inspired the mean girls that grew up in our era.
I wasn't even gonna go there. But y'all, we gonna end this for tonight. Thank you for joining us. As always, each one teach one, each one reach one. I will see you all on Tuesday for traveling through history with Taz. So make sure you come through. And if you're not already, wait a minute, if you're not already following DMAC 5x5 on TikTok, and wait a minute, what's your photography handle on Instagram?
DMAC photo on Instagram.
Yes, and he's an amazing photographer. So check with him, see if he's in your area, hire him. Ooh, baby. If y'all loved my video that I put out on YouTube the other day. Credit this brother here, because he is the one that taught me over the months. He looking funny, but this is what it. As a former
Oh,
model,
I was just
I
like, what is she
still
talking
had
about? I
things.
didn't take the picture.
I still had things to learn, and he told me, "Hey, your best side is this side. Your lighting is this lighting." Like, he will learn you and get the best pictures of you.
Yeah, I was just like, I didn't take the pictures though.
No, but you learned the best lightings for me. And I'm not saying I took the best pictures of myself by myself, but I'm saying even if you don't have the budget to hire him, he can still give you some good advice. But each one teach one, each one reach one. We'll see y'all Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, and look out, tomorrow I'm doing Cirque du Soleil Alcatraz. So I'll be dropping some nuggets here on YouTube of the Cirque du Soleil Alcatraz show. So